أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب إله رب العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم بقية الله خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكر فضائلهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكمه كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلك لعلكم تتقون. Greetings and felicitations to all of you and acceptance of your fast as we have already, alhamdulillah, entered the blessed month of Ramadan. We are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah have given us the opportunity to really attend this month. Many were there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless their souls. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase their daraja with us last year, but they are not this year. Many have started their fasting with us last year. I myself remember, for example, my own father-in-law. He was alive last year. May Allah bless his soul and increase his daraja. He is not with me this year. And many, each and every one of you, just reflect, just think, just reflect for a moment, that they say, oh, you know, this brother was with us, this sister was with us, this our auntie, our khala, our this, they were with us few years ago or last year, but they are not here. May Allah subhanahu Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. That's why we recite the very first line of this dua of the month of Ramadan begins by a reminder for us to be a source of thanksgiving to God by praying to our marhumin. Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. That the surur, that the joy enter the graves of the marhumin. So the dua begins by a reminder. So therefore we should reflect that why this dua is beginning by a reminder of the loved ones, of those who have left and died and not in this dunya, are in barzakh. Why is it? Why it begins with that? As a thanksgiving to us. We are doing dua, at the same time reflecting. See, one thing, brothers and sisters, that's very important is that we have to approach dua not just as a dua in the sense that it is a lip service or it is something that I really want. Yes, I want this to happen, but we have to reflect on why is dua laid in this fashion. Why this first? Why this last? Why this in the middle? The way how dua begins, the chemistry of dua, the combination of words and the names of God being used, and how is this combination of these words is reflected in the Quran. How this combination of words and the meaning of these names of God are in the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, right? So dua is actually a powerful methodology of ma'rifat ilahi, of knowing God, and also ma'rifat of the soul, of knowing myself. That's what dua is. So now our topic is not dua. However, yesterday we looked at the importance, the essential realities of fasting, and I had posed a question that why, Allah is inviting us with hunger and thirst. We have to look that, but it is important as we started our program by remembering our marhumin who are not with us. So I just wanted to point out to the value and the importance of these du'as that we have to really reflect. We have to really make sure that we are approaching the dua the way Ahlul Bayt wants us to approach. The purpose of this dua is not just to recite, but the purpose of this dua was to bring this dua into practice. When we are saying an abd to Allah, we have to be abd, 100% abd. We have to say that Ya ayyuhan nas antumul fuqara ila Allah. That's the Quran of the Quran, ayah of the Quran. When I'm saying ana faqir, I have to really from the marifati point of view, from the knowledge point of view, from my soul, I have to realize, come to the understanding that I am faqir, I am abd, I am miskeen. Nothing of mine is valuable. There is no reality to me. There is no reality to even that little understanding that I may have of God. Much higher is there. God is above everything. Even after knowing everything, we say, Allahu Akbar. God is greater, greatest. Then what marifat that I have? Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Right? So therefore, du'as are there for practical purposes, not just to, give peace to our heart by the words, by beautiful recitation, few tears may flow into our eyes, and then we get the desire what we want. Yes, good, but we gotta have the higher and deeper understanding, and that is the implementation of this dua into practice. We have to practically perform these duas. Now, alhamdulillah, in our community where I am based in Luton, we have started this dua, Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, in the practical way this month of Ramadan. What we are doing is that when it says Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, from the masjid we will be taking our youth, our youngsters, and anyone who wants to join to the cemeteries, where we will go and recite Yasin, where we will go and recite Fatiha, where we will go and discuss about the marahil of akhirah and hereafter, and bring that sort of surur, peace and joy in the cemeteries and the graveyard. Practically doing it, not just sitting on our prayer mat and just saying Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur every day. When we recite it, we say that Allahumma atqil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, practically doing that, right? Allahumma aghni kulla faqir, practically donating and giving charity, not just by our zaban, not just by our tongue. Allahumma ishfa kulli marid. Yes, when we are reciting the Allahumma ishfa kulli marid, we got to practically go to the marid, to the sick person, to the person who is ill, and pray for him. And mind you, it says kulla marid, kulla faqir, right? For every, it doesn't say maridul Muslim, maridul mu'min, or a faqir who is a Muslim faqir, a faqir who is a mu'min faqir. No, kulla faqir, kulla mariz, right? It's kulla, for all. So therefore, like as we said, in order to implement this Allahumma ishfa kulli marid, as they say that when you go for a visit, a person who is ill, that visit itself, this is half of his cure. He will feel boosted, he will have that energy, he will feel happy, and this energy will give him hope, and this hope will provide him with when we say Allahumma shfa kulla shifa, will give him that shifa. So we're gonna take our youth, our young ones, our elderly ones to really go visit hospitals and take flowers to them, take get well cards to them, to all, regardless. If they are Muslims, they are Muslims. If not, not. So we as a Muslim in the month of Ramadan, practically implementing Allahumma ishfa kulla marid by attending to these. People who are elderly, living in their houses, they cannot come out. Let's go visit them. Let's go give them greetings of the month of Ramadan. Speak to them, learn from them, learn from their experiences, tajruba, they call it, right? The experience that they have from their life. One incident that they may mention that will hit our heart and change our path, right? Change our sort of thinking pattern, right? Because of this story, this practical thing, this uncle, this elderly man is mentioning to me. right? That's why Amirul Mu'mineen says that the greatest teacher of yours is the experience. Experience is considered as the greatest teacher. So we got to learn from them, from the experience, and that experience will teach us as well, you know. So therefore, the du'as are there, you know, in order to that we understand thoroughly, have the ma'rifat of Allah, by that have ma'rifat of our soul, and also try to bring this into practice, practically, you know, manifestating that this dua in amal, in action. That's what we got to do, you know. Now, going back onto the topic that we have started, we mentioned last week that we are going to follow a text which is Muraqabat, which is the text of Malik Jawad Agha Tabrizi, and narration from Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida alayhi salam, an abaihi alayhi salam, an Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib qala inna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam khutbana, you know, the khutbah of Rasulullah, and also Hadith Miraj, different, you know, versions that we will bring together and will provide you as a bouquet, as a beautiful bunch of flowers to our viewers who are watching us, in order to understand the rights of the month of Ramadan and how this month of Ramadan have the fragrance of Jannah, of paradise, because it will bring us closer to Jannah by participation of and by fulfillment of the rituals and the rites of the month. Now, when we reflect, we find that the month of Ramadan, as we are in the invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are invited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what is this invitation? How is this invitation? It is an invite for a person through hunger and thirst. A person in this month is not eating, and the person in this month is not drinking, you know. And then when we reflect on the narrations that are there in regards to hunger and thirst, the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have mentioned that with hunger and thirst, fight with your soul, do the jihad of the nafs, and the reward of this for you when you are fighting with this hunger and thirst is the reward of the jihad fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing jihad, and there isn't any, the hadith continues, there isn't any that is more lovable, than hunger and thirst to God. So the hunger and thirst is very lovable to God. Now see, we have not been given the opportunity to fight in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala along with the Prophet. Those people, those marhumeen, you know, those shuhada who were in Badr, who were in, you know, in Uhud, in all, they have all become shaheed. They are not in this world, or they have died, right? And they will get a special reward for this. But we are unable to get this reward. So now, when they get this reward, we will look at it, they got a special. See, every zikr, every action that is recommended and that we've been asked to perform, the reward of it has a different fragrance, have a different color, have a different taste, have a different form. For example, the reward of zakat is different. The reward of fasting is different. The reward of freeing slave is different. It's like a variety. You know, when you go to a garden, you know, you see different flowers, different shades, different colors, different fragrances. So the same way, the recommended actions and the wajib actions, those things which God have asked us to perform, everything has a different reward to it in regards to its fragrance, in regards to its taste, in regards to its form, right? For example, freeing a slave which we cannot perform today, but people, our great grandfathers in the past, they have performed this. For example, they have freed a slave. Now they will achieve this reward. We all are standing in a line, and then, for instance, it's been announced that this is the prize or this is the reward for those who have freed the slave. But we will be sitting, we will be unable to get this because we have never freed a slave. But God does not want to deprive us from the opportunity of freeing a slave. God do not want to deprive us from the opportunity of jihad fi sabilillah along with the Prophet, for example. So God says that if you feed a person, if you give iftar in this month of Ramadan, the reward of it is like freeing a slave. Now, I cannot buy a slave and free a slave because, you cannot do that in today's era, but today's period. But, for example, the reward of helping or the reward of giving iftar for a person who is fasting, walau, even if that be a glass of water, even if that be one date, the reward that you will achieve is like freeing a slave. So God have not deprived me. God is adil. God is just. He has not deprived me of freeing a slave. He has said that, okay, if you cannot in the past, why not now? I had given you the opportunity. I have mentioned you. The Prophet in Khutbah Shabaniya is mentioning that feed, give an iftar and achieve the reward of freeing a slave. So here the Prophet in another narration points out to, from the hunger and thirst, do jihad, fight your soul. And the reward of it is as if you are fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there isn't anything that is more lovable to God than hunger and thirst. So there is something very unique and special in regards to hunger and thirst. That's why God is inviting in the month of Ramadan by hunger and thirst. Look how beautiful this narration is. Then if you look at another narration from the Prophet himself, he has mentioned, that is, in another narration from the Prophet, it says that keep your belly empty and keep your mouth full of thirst at a time when you will be meeting Israel. When that malak, when that angel of death comes to you, make sure that when you meet, do not have your belly empty and also be thirsty at the same time. And then when you perform that, when you do that, then you will have a great reward. So there is something very unique. There is something very special in regards to this being hunger and being thirsty. Yes, as the Prophet he himself says in the Khutbah Shabaniya, he says that, remember the day of judgment. Remember the hunger and thirst of the day of judgment. While you are fasting, while in this month when you feel hungry and thirsty, remember that day. Because that day is 50,000 years and more. That day, that one day of judgment is. People will be standing in grave. People will not be able to breathe without any food and anything. Remember that. That's what the Prophet is trying to point out to. So therefore the fasting is training, as we said in the last month. See, the month of Ramadan will train us. Will train us so that we will face challenges in this dunya, and also that we'll be able to face challenges in the hereafter. As the sixth Imam mentions this in the hadith to Abu Basir, that when a person dies, 6 faces enter his grave. One is his salat, which will be on the right, will be protecting him. One is zakat, which is on the left. And one is fasting, which will be in front of him like a shield that will protect him in barzakh. So fasting is considered as a shield. That's why we over and over again in this month of Ramadan recite that, خلصنا من النار يا رب. Really protect us from the hellfire. Later on, Malik Jawad Aghay Tabrizi and the Asatid of Akhlaq have pointed out that there are 3 different types of people who fast. They are meaning that there are 3 fasters. 3 types of people. One who fasts, who only faces that he is fasting, doesn't eating, he's not drinking, he's fasting from dawn to dusk, but during this period he's backbiting, he's lying, he's cheating, he's not really focusing upon his soul, nafs, right? Yes, he's also praying, he's also doing zikr and taqibat and everything, but when it comes to his akhlaqi aspect, he is not really controlling his anger. He's not doing those things which the Prophet has mentioned in the Khutbah Shabaniyah, which we'll look at it later on perhaps, right? For instance, he's cutting ties, breaking his relationship with the relatives and family members. He's not striving to really connect with the kin, with the family relations, right? So on and so forth. It just says one type of faster. A person who fasts, he is just bearing the hunger and thirst. There's a second type of person who is considered as the second faster, or the second type of person who fasts. The second type of fast. The second type of fast, the ulama akhlaq, Malik Jawad Aghay Tabrizi also mentioned in the book of Muraqabat, and that is a person who is fasting, meaning he's not eating. The first is also okay from the Shari point of view, right? The second one is the one who is fasting, but he is controlling his tongue. He is trying to fulfill the rites of the fast and the etiquettes that are there, right? He is not backbiting, he is not blaming, getting angry, taking care of the loved ones, trying to behave in a good akhlaqi fashion, right? These are people who will achieve that reward. Then there's a third type of people who fast, and those are who are even controlling their thoughts. They are even controlling their hearts. They are like a hawk in terms of their thoughts that are coming to their mind. Every time that they are saying, they are thinking what they are saying. Every little that thing that we say, it has to be well calculated, right? So there, and there are many examples that I would like to give. However, the time is not really there for us to go through them, but inshallah in our next program. So today we just pointed out that the importance of du'as and the implementation of these du'as in practice that we have to do. Bring these du'as out on the ground, practically do. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Go to the cemeteries with your family members, with your loved ones, to bring that surur. Allahumma shfa kulla marid. Go to the hospitals, go to the mu'mineen who are ill, go to kulla maris, to even those who are not mu'min. Go to a cancer ward in the local hospital and learn about them and pray for them. Kulla maris. Practically doing these du'as, we really have to bring it out. Then we also pointed out that the invitation of God is through hunger and thirst. And why it is through hunger and thirst? What's the reason? And we pointed out to some of the narrations from the Prophet in regards to and the importance of hunger and thirst. Inshallah, then the 3 types of fasters, or the people who fast, or the 3 type of fast, just fasting without eating and drinking, or fasting with control, and the third is the control of the thoughts and the heart. That is the best type of fast that we all want to achieve and have. The month of Ramadan is the training month. The month of Ramadan have the fragrance of paradise. So let's try our level best to come near to our Jannah, to our paradise, inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi tahirin. غفر الله لنا ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.